welcome to my channel. Today I want to share with you some of the decks that I have been using for many years. I always thought it'd be nice to take some time to introduce you to some of the decks that got me started and inspired me to do these readings in the first place. I find that for me, the images speak volumes. And if I was out looking for my very first deck, I would look for something that really inspired me from a very, very deep place, whether it's the story or the pictures or even the size of the deck. So today I'm going to introduce you to two very different decks created by the same artist. And the first deck is a deck that was my very first deck, The Legend of the Arthurian Tarot. So you can see it is quite a beautiful, beautiful pictorial. It's very regal. And if you're inspired and love anything to do with, Merlin and the time of the Knights of the Round Table, all the stories, all the legends, then this might be a good selection for you. I'll read you a little bit about what's on the back. The Arthurian legend is far more than a tale for children, just as the tarot is far more than just a fortune-telling game. Both embody the age-old collective wisdom which speaks to us on a deep, intuitive level. Artist and writer Anna-Marie Ferguson has linked these two powerful symbologies to make the tarot more accessible, deepen the traditional interpretations of the cards, and enrich your readings by drawing on the compelling mythology of the Arthurian world. So you can see this box is very well worn. It's, as I said, was my very first deck that I ever got. Some wonderful synchronicities happened after I bought this deck as well, which I'm going to be sharing with you. So once you open the box, the first thing that you see is the beautiful companion book called A Keeper of Words. Now, Anna-Marie Ferguson is an Alberta artist. I don't know if she's always been from Alberta, but I met her when we were both working in Alberta. And what I love about this book is not only does it have stories from the legends of the Arthurian times, it has myths and poetry, and each card is painted and designed around a very prominent story from the Arthurian time. Everything about Merlin and his conquests to, Lancelot and Nimue and Percival, all of the names that come to mind when you think of this time frame. So not only do you learn a lot about the symbology of the cards, but you get a real backstory into stories from the Arthurian time, which to me was of great interest as well. And it gave much more depth and meaning to the cards. I thought they're exquisitely painted, and the stories are very, very deep and really connect you to the story that they're telling. You'll also find in here, there is a beautiful, and if you're new to card reading, one of the first layouts that you probably will learn is called the Celtic Cross. And in here with this is also a beautiful template of the Celtic Cross that you can use as a layout. You see the beautiful tree of life in the middle. Isn't that beautiful? Now, on my very first one, I actually went on to here and I wrote little comments in the bottom of the boxes so I remember what each of the positions hold. And in the book, of course, it does also have a complete explanation of the layouts. So this was actually the second deck of this card deck that I purchased. I had the opportunity to actually meet Anna-Marie Ferguson when she was doing a art show for the new release of her second deck, which I'm also going to be showing you today. So I ended up getting a first edition. So I actually had the opportunity to have her sign my book. And so I keep this pretty much tucked away and I don't use it as much as the deck that I have really well broke in. So these cards here are all completely very, very new. I love the color. If you know me, I love purple. Beautiful gold foil labyrinth design on the back. And the artwork is just absolutely stunning. You've got some of them I'll show you. There's Merlin. The Empress. Judgment. Very, very beautiful watercolor type uh, pictures. And here is the Priestess. And her version of the Hanged Man. So these decks are based on the actual original tarot decks, 78 cards with the major arcana and the minor arcana. There's the moon. I like this deck too because it is an easy deck size for shuffling, which I think is really important when you're looking for your first deck, is a deck that you can handle well, the one that you can put in your hand, use it very, very easily in your hand. I find that she's very gifted at drawing people and at horses and animals, which I truly, truly love. Whoop. There's the Lovers. And one of my absolute favorites is the Universe. And there she is around the stones, dancing around the stones. Okay, well, I hope you like this deck. I hope you enjoyed the story. There will be a link at the bottom, of course, as I was telling you. So you can go check it out on Amazon if it's a deck that you'd be interested in getting. And my deck is quite worn now and quite used. But like I said, I like a deck that I can hold in my hand, and there's so many different ways to shuffle. I shuffle this way. Some people do a spread out on the table this way, have people draw the cards, and I quite often well, depending on the day. Sometimes I will do this if I'm feeling called for the person to pull their own card, or generally I like to keep the energy, my energy only on the deck, so I will use them as a typical shuffle this way. So you can see they do shuffle very, very well. Beautiful deck. So the second deck that Anna-Marie Ferguson brought out, it's a little bit larger deck and it has it's a little bit brighter, I think, and cheery. Well, I find Keeper of Words to be very mystical and kind of like the more of a darker tone to it. The second one that she brought out was called the Llewellyn Tarot. And the Llewellyn Tarot, it has a much brighter vibe to it, more the golden, earthy tones to it, and than the deeper blues and purples. And the deck itself is a little bit larger, so I find it a little bit harder to shuffle for my hands. But it's got the gorgeous shield on the back. So I find it very, very easy to shuffle as well, but you can see it's a much bigger fit in my hand. So Anna-Marie Ferguson was doing this art show in Red Deer at the art gallery there, and I think it was at the museum actually. And I had the chance to meet her and to actually get a piece of her artwork of one of her cards and have it framed here in my home. So I am a true fan of her work and of her deck and of the stories that she has in her books. Um, this is the painting that I have framed here at home. Gorgeous. So you can see it's a much brighter source. And this one says, powerful magicians, otherworldly priestesses, fierce warriors, and fair maidens come to life in the Llewellyn Tarot, based upon the myths, legends, and culture of medieval Wales. The Llewellyn Tarot Companion adds layers of meaning to these powerful images. And again, her storytelling is amazing. Sometimes 2-3 pages of story that backs up each one of these cards. So you get such a depth of understanding and connection to the cards and the symbolic images that she chose to use inside the deck. So let me see if I can find a few here for you to show you as well. Beautiful. The Three of Wands. Oh, this one's beautiful. Temperance. Here's the Star. Ace of Swords. And again, I love her ability to paint the horses. And here's the Magician and this beautiful white steed and white wolf, the Fool, jumping over the chasm. Ace of Pentacles. Is that her storytelling and her artist skills are just amazing, amazing. Wheel of Fortune. So as I said, I think if you're looking for one of your first decks, look for something that resonates with you, whether it be the storyline, the colors, the topic, whatever it is that affects you. Here's the Knight of Cups. Yeah, just beautiful, beautiful cards. So again, I encourage you to take a look at these decks if they resonate with you and if you would think you would enjoy having them in your own collection or to use. The stories are amazing and they really draw you in and give you such depth of feeling for the deck themselves. So I think if you like this type of story, this period of time, that you would really, really enjoy them. Anna-Marie Ferguson is an amazing artist and a wonderful storyteller. So see the description and the links are below. Blessings to you. Namaste. Thanks again for joining me here today. I hope you'll stay tuned for the next part of my tarot deck review. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Blessings.